All right, John Vake, man, it's good to get you back on. The last time we spoke, it was a maybe over a year ago before the Aftershock fight. You're getting ready for that fight. That card got canceled. And, man, how devastating is it for you to go through the camp, go through all that training, go through the struggle, and not able to go out there and perform?
Man, that's frustrating, bro, to be honest with you. I'm quite an optimistic guy, but that stuff just weighs on you, like, over time. But I think my teammate, Dan Hooker, he said it the best to me. He was like, if you want something reliable, get a proper job.
That sounds like Dan.
Yeah, he said that and it kind of like clicked me out. I'm like, yeah, I should probably pick a proper sport, He's like, play rugby, you get like 24 games,
No cancellations.
Yeah, no, you're guaranteed. You sign up to a basketball season or a rugby season, you're going to get those games. You pay your fee. Yeah, so he was like, he sort of looked at me, he's like, bro, if you can always change sport. I was like, nah. So I just kept on going, man. I mean, it is what it is. This sport's a beautiful sport, but it's also, quite a vicious sport. You're either the hammer or the nail. So yeah, it just didn't swing my way on those times, but it's the sport, you gotta take the good with the bad. But I love all of it, the ups and the downs of this. It's what I enjoy doing.
2018, 2019, you've been through a lot, ups and downs. Training can be phenomenal at times. It can be brutal and crushing at times. What keeps you focused? Other than Dan Hooker giving you those little gems, what keeps you aligned with the path that you want to go on, your goals?
Man, to be honest, I give the credit to the team and the gym at City Kickboxing. Obviously, you hear a lot about Eugene Behrman, Doug Vaini, and Andre Paulette. Oh, these heaps, man. There's so much of the coaching staff there. They have such a wealth of knowledge there. So they keep me refreshed, going in there to just have so much knowledge of the game, so they're able to tell you, those times when you get those pullouts and you haven't had a fight and you're sitting there and you're like lingering, they can kind of give you that, that knowledge that you need during those times, that kind of help keep you going, where before what would happen when I used to train at like overseas or something, those thoughts would be like by yourself. I feel like I'm in like a very good community now where, to be honest with you, it's very hard to give up and it's very hard to stay the same. And it's very hard to be lazy.
Yeah, man, it seems like City Kickboxing, they have reached the community, like you said, and I know you're big in the community, helping kids. How's that going, helping the kids out and kind of getting them on the right path, showing them the right way?
I'm not too sure about showing them things, but I mean, like, I tell everyone, like, they're real people doing real things. I coach kids. I give time twice a week. Like, it's not like when you try to glorify things like that, you're making something so simple seem so hard. It makes people feel like they need a real cape to do something. Like, you could teach a kid how to talk or interview. I could teach, like, I've been fighting so I can teach them relative. It's about giving back, So I'm not really sorry about that. Yeah, it's not. I don't really see myself as that type of person. I don't have like a 12-step. This is how you become better. Like, I just train them. But yes, a lot of these kids are, like, I guess to society seen as at risk. These are the kids that have already been kicked out of school. These are the kids that probably don't have gym memberships. But like I said, like, even I tell them I'm just like a person here, like, just trying to show them an alternative route, like someone else showed me an alternative route and now I'm doing this.
But even though you're fighting right now, it seems like coaching is going to be in your future eventually, because you're getting all that experience helping those kids out, right?
I don't know, to be honest with you, bro. I don't know, like, because I didn't feel like I coach. Like, what Eugene does is coaching. And I also don't feel like I have like a 12-step guru guide booklet. I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle. Hey, I could have a 12-week fix your life, maybe. Might go that route. But to say I'm going to be a coaching, I don't know yet, bro. Like, right now, this is what I'm doing. Like, should I go dig a hole or should I help some kids in between while I'm chasing something? It just makes sense to me, I don't think I have an ambition to, like, for me, to become a coach, or right now this is a good means to an end to allows me to pursue something, and it feels like it's not too difficult. And I probably get along with people under 18 better than people over 18, so it works out for me too.
Going back to your coaches, Eugene, Andre, those are the only two I've actually interviewed. There's a bunch more at the gym, but Eugene and Andre, they're very cool. Like they're like calm, chill. Who's the intense coach at City Kickboxing? Who's the guy out there just screaming and yelling at everybody?
Man, I think, do you know when you select the NBA draft and then you have like 5 players who can play every position?
Yeah.
That's them, man. Like they all have turns. There's not like one role. You're not like you're the point guard, you're the shooting guard. It's like 5 LeBron James. When we need to move him to center, you usually go to center. If we move power forward, they have their synergy, bro. That's honest. Like some days you're just the angel, sometimes he's the devil. Sometimes Andre's the angel, sometimes the devil. And to be honest with you, I feel like they all orchestrate it together.
They have a plan.
I don't know, Yeah. Maybe it's planned, but like for me, like the recipient, like everyone has their days. It's not one person that's always the nice guy. Yeah. But generally they're not everyone's mean at the same day. I've noticed that.
It's the good cop, bad cop scenario.
Mostly, yeah. Most of the time, yeah. Most of the time, yeah, it does work like that.
Oh, you have, a lot of experience, but your next fight, it's unique to me because it's a promotion that has been around for a long time, but you've never fought for them. It's your promotional debut for Eternal, and you get to do it in your home city. Pretty wild, right? That you're fighting for the first time for Eternal, and you've been fighting around the region for a quick minute now.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, it is like you said, I've known of Eternal for so long and I've been around for so long. I always knew I was going to end up there at some point. So I guess it is what it is. I think everything, as cliche as it sounds, happens the way it's supposed to happen. And I'm glad that like it took me this long just to debut in my home city. If they told me at the beginning, we're going to lag you off Eternal, but when you do debut, we'll be in Auckland, I'll probably take that lag, eh?
Your last fight, last summer, did you take time off? Did you have some injuries that you need to get over? Or have you been training the whole time?
To be honest with you, I did everything you said there. I took some time off. I healed some injuries that I had going on. Just really refocused myself. And then I came straight back into training towards the end of the year. We had a few boys. I think Alex was just preparing, so we needed some bodies in there. And then us getting ready for this side. So it was like Alex was tapering off and we were tapering on. But I had like about a month off where I would just kind of chilled out and let my injuries heal and rested, and really got to like just have a look at what I'm doing now. Like sometimes when you're doing something for so long, you don't realize, you just get into certain habits, and beginning the new decade, I was able to look at myself and be like, what am I doing? Where am I trying to go? When I came in here last time, like just beginning off, I didn't know anything, so I just guessed everything. Everything was guessing. And then I found myself at the end of the decade and being like, all right, we're about to start a new one. Let's figure out what we're trying to do, and not just fight, I guess, which is what, if you think about it, in 2010, the sport and the way the sport was, it was very much still in that era of fight. Yeah. So I'm almost like of the old and of the new. Like I'm old enough to remember like Matt Hughes and BJ Penn's rivalry. Like I was still watching them, but I'm also still young enough to where Conor McGregor came in. So like I still feel like I'm of this new era, but I'm very old school. Just because of that, But yeah.
The team, it's blown up in the last, you guys been working for a while, but I'm saying the last maybe 2 years it's crazy, right? Do you notice more eyes on you guys? Of course there's eyes on the UFC fighters, but even the guys that are grinding, that are coming up, that are in the trenches with the UFC guys, do you notice that more eyes on you guys?
100%. Man, I love the sport, everything about it, but we have the most like unloyal fans, MMA when it comes like I know, like we're talking about NBA, like I got a brother that's been supporting the Lakers, like even like with their drought, now they're on the up, and I've seen it, and we didn't have that we don't have that same. And what the point I'm trying to get across is that the moment one of the boys in the UFC get big, they automatically look who's next, like with some sort of magical genie that pops out the next one. You know what I mean? And it's so I guess like with the blowing up of the gym of the UFC guys, yeah, they have looked at what's underneath that now, because they're already trying to move on to the next guy and be like the first guy to, you know what I mean? Oh, I saw him when no one was seeing him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then sometimes they might be on the right track, and sometimes they might be on the wrong track. It is what it is. We'll find out, you know.
Now, you said, you hopped back into the gym. You kind of got into camp during Alex's camp. Being part of those champ camps and seeing the results, does that help you with your confidence physically and mentally?
100%. 100%. Like I said before, like I'm literally a kid from like my version of my hood that saw something they thought was cool to give a go, you know, and I just feel blessed and grateful that over time I found myself in those rooms. So you imagine a kid that goes from like dreaming or trying to believe something, and now this is what it takes to beat this guy, or this is what it takes to main event this, and especially with the boys winning, I can be like, this is what it looks like, and this is what it takes to become champion. And it's not so much like finger on the pulse, like, oh, no, I can go harder or more, you know, like from their era. So of course it just gives you so much of that insight that we only just got, but we, like you're saying, we've been working for years for a minute. You know what I mean? And it's all worth it now. And I honestly believe, like, talking about the next generation coming up, like, man, now I look at them like they're spoiled. Like, I'm looking at the next crop. We have a whole bunch of crop of guys from 20 to 25 coming out of the gym that I look at now like, man, you know, the same way that the guys at 35 are looking at me, you know, like spoiled.
I'm pretty sure you got so many guys and girls just showing up on the doorstep. Like, they want to get in, you know, but there's so many. I heard that there's like 70, 80 fighters right now. It's pretty insane,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, round about that, bro. Like, our sparring's, yeah, anywhere between 70 to 100 people sparring. So that means in order to spar, you got to be at a certain level requirement at our gym. So that means that's that level. That's crazy, you know. So technically, they're all fighters or have fought or on the way to fighting. Man, it's ridiculous, and I think it's only gonna grow. Like, every day we get new guys. Like, you see a new guy, you know, and like, oh, these are new guy, these are new guy. And it's just overseas guys, man. And I'm like a lot of the boys, like Dan and that. Like, I've done a lag at Tiger, and I've done my lags at different places, you know. So it's surreal sometimes that it feels like that, but it's my backyard.
Yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean? Like,
It's your backyard.
it's surreal. Like, I grew up like when I started this game, I used to believe that we had to go to American Top Team to ever stand a chance or to feel something. We're getting people from Florida flying here. You know what I mean? I was just like, it's crazy. Like, some days I'm just like, what? So then now I go back to saying, like, the new generation fighters, like the 20 and the 25s, I'm looking at them like, you spoiled. You spoiled.
Yeah,
You know,
they go
enjoy
down the street
process.
now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you could like quit your job and just walk down the road and say you're an inspiring fighter now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the real deal.
Well, I guess it's like everybody else's job there to show them like what is needed to become a aspiring fighter. You know, when you step into the gym, it's just like you're just a regular guy. You know, when you start,
Right.
you gotta earn
Right.
that title as aspiring fighter, right?
Yeah, nah, for sure. And I think that's where the senior guys, like all the top guys in the UFC, and you've seen it like probably through interviewing them, they conduct themselves so well. You know, they're great role models for everyone coming in. You know, so they're like that star, they're North Star. They're a good North Star for the boys that, like, you know, try to pursue. Not saying they're gonna be like them, but they're good role models, you know, like they show you the way how to do it. And they also, like, especially when you talk to someone like Dan, he just tells you real sometimes, like when, like, he will just tell you facts, like it takes this amount of years, or it takes it takes this, and that's very hard. You know what I mean? So they'll tell you, they're not gonna be that type that will, like, look at you and be like, if I can do it, you can do it. Believe, achieve, conceive. Like, you know, like, these guys are real guys. They'll be like, yeah, you can do it, but you're gonna have to work very hard. You're gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to do that. You're gonna have to say no to this. You're gonna have to sacrifice that. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. That these are the guys that will, like, eventually filter these guys through, you know, that who is an aspiring fighter and who's not.
Your fight coming up, Mikey Vaotuua.
Mm,
He's an experienced guy. He's fought some very good guys. Even fought your
mm,
teammate. You guys
yeah,
were on the same card. The last fight,
yeah,
Wulugan
yeah,
War 7. What
yeah.
kind of insight has Brad given you on him?
Man, to be honest, not too much. Brad hasn't given me too much on him. All he told me was he's tough. You know, they went the distance, and he just told me that he's tough, and you gotta take it from this guy. You know, he's not. Yeah, he was just telling me that being in there and experiencing with him, there were ways where a lot of lesser men could cower out, and he didn't take those routes. He still took the loss, but he didn't take those routes. So he was telling me like, if you think he's gonna walk in here and then lie down, it's not gonna work like that. And I think that was the most valuable advice. And they're also someone who's that confident to take this type of fight is coming to take. You know, they're not coming to lie down. They believe that they could actually, I don't know, upset it or ruin the party or disrupt the plans. And unless they're confident in that, they wouldn't do it. So that was very valuable advice for me. And he said he learned that against him too. So I'll take my time in there with him and see where the cards fall.
Coming off 2 straight losses, what is the mentality going into this fight at Eternal 50?
Man, to be honest with you, I took a lot of inspiration from Justin A. It just took a lot of pressure off. Like, it's crazy, like, with the gym doing the way that the gym has been going, and then me performing the way that I perform, it takes a lot. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? You know what I mean? And that's what Justin said walking into his last fight. He was like, well, what's the worst it's not in my hometown now, it's in his hometown. You know what I mean? And I feel like I want to have a similar mindset, and I want to look like how I'm inspiring to look the difference. What Tougher look like in the difference is what I intend to look like on this one. I want to show the skills that I actually have, you know, and that's what I'm looking to do, because what's the worst that can happen? And no matter what, the party's going to go on, because the next day the boys are still on. The UFC's still going to happen. You know what I mean? So all of the fear in that's gone, like all of everything. I'm just in there now, and what's the worst that can happen? The best that can happen is that I go and do what I'm supposed to do.
So you feel more free, because that's what it seemed like with Justin. He was just like, man, I'm going in there and being free. I'm just going to be myself. And he looked just like he did before he got signed to the UFC in that last performance. Yes. It was amazing. You know, that knockout is pretty viral. I'm pretty shocked he didn't get that money, man.
Yeah, me too. Like, whoa, how did you not get the knockout of the night, eh? Like, whoa, did not get that one, bro. But yeah, I think you're on. I think it just comes from maturity, you know. I literally grew up in this game. Like, I was 20 and I was fighting professional here. Might have not been the most smartest move, but like there was no blueprint at the time, you know. And what's happening now is that as I'm maturing, I'm still learning. Like under Eugene, and I'm learning like now, even though I got a wealth of experience, how to actually, you know what I mean. So I feel like I'm even though in my career it looks like I've done a lot, I feel like I'm just I'm not even halfway yet, like in terms of my age and where I'm at. So I think that freedom just comes from a lot of I guess a coming of age, like, you know, just maturity outside of the octagon, but then also maturity of knowing like everything, the body of work you've done and the body of work that you have now and the team that you have now, and understanding those variables and understanding like what's right and what's wrong for you and what you can do. And man, I'm just excited for this decade. You know, like I said before, I came in last decade not knowing anything, just jumping straight into pro, no amateur experience, just trying to find myself at the end of the decade where I was. I'm excited for this decade. I'm like, man, I'm gonna do this one properly. You know, like I trust my team, I trust my coaches, and it sounds as cliche as it is, man. I just wake up every day, and I just show up to work. I let them do the rest. You know, they point, I punch. I don't do nothing. They like point at the bag, tell me to hit that. I hit that as many times they tell me. They tell me to point at this guy, hit him. That's what I do. You know, you point at this guy. I don't. You know, then it's pretty. I have all the faith in them. You know, so I just show up and try to love my job.
Definitely, man. Well, February 22nd, you step back into that cage, Eternal MMA 50, hometown, home city, Auckland, New
Mm.
Zealand. Thank you, John, for the time. Always good chatting with you, man. And good luck on the fight. Good luck on everything that you're doing outside the cage. And we'll talk soon.
Cool. Thanks, John. Appreciate you, buddy.